this video, I want to talk about sugar cravings. Why do you get them? How to stop them? So if you want to find out more about sugar cravings and the answers to these questions, then keep watching. Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're talking all about sugar cravings. Now, sugar is pretty much a demonized food. It's been said to cause all chronic disease. It should be avoided, and it's just bad for you, and we should be avoiding it for our overall health and well-being. But if you watched my Should You Avoid Carbs for PCOS video, if you haven't clicked the card here, or it's also in the description box down below, you would know that I do not advocate low-carb diets, and I do not recommend eliminating carbohydrates or any kind of macronutrient for that matter. So the first, most obvious reason why you're craving sugar is because you're not eating enough sugar or carbohydrates. Sugar is our primary source of energy. When we metabolize glucose, we release carbon dioxide. And as I mentioned in a few of my videos, that's the pathway we need. So carbon dioxide indicates healthy mitochondrial respiratory function. When glucose is turned into lactic acid, this is a wasteful approach of using glucose. You see, we need glucose in order for both our thyroid and liver to function optimally. So see, in the liver, thyroid hormones are made. So let me explain. T4, which is our inactive thyroid hormone, is converted into T3, active thyroid hormone, in the liver. But in order for this process to occur, the liver needs glucose. So if we're not providing our liver with enough glucose, then the conversion of T4 to T3 is kind of impacted or affected. And then as a result, the production of our thyroid hormones is in turn decreased, and we lack the energy, ATP, and then our metabolism begins to slow down, because thyroid is pretty much has a role to play in the metabolism and how fast or slow our metabolism is. So a healthy thyroid means a fast metabolism and good liver. The second reason why you may be craving sugar is because you're not eating enough. This is such a common reason for craving sugar. We are constantly bombarded with this idea that weight loss and fat loss is the way to go, and in order to achieve this, we need to obviously follow the calorie diets and cut our calories and over-exercise, and we're essentially living in a depleted state, a low energy. We don't have any energy. If we're constantly here consuming less calories, here over-exercising, burning a bunch of calories through cardio and just putting out stress on the body, we're in a negative state. We don't have any energy. So by not eating enough and nourishing your body, you're going to crave sugar, because, as I said, sugar is our primary source of energy. It's that quick source of energy. So if you're not eating enough food, overall calories, energy, then you're going to crave that quick source of energy, which comes from sugar. Like I said, we can use fat for energy, we can use protein, but that process is a lot more complex and takes and increases stress hormones. In order to break down fat and protein, stress hormones have to rise, and you're just constantly running off stress hormones all the time. Stress pretty much rises for two reasons: inflammation and lack of energy to meet the demands of whatever we're putting our body through. So in order to prevent these stress hormones and to, not experience these sugar cravings, we have to make sure that we're providing our body with enough fuel, so enough calories to match the demands we put our body through on a day-to-day basis. If we're not nourishing our body with enough food, and then going back to point one of enough sugar, then how are we supposed to meet the demands we're putting our body through? because when we put our body through a lot of stuff, we're not feeding it, then the stress hormones will rise because it doesn't have enough energy to meet this demand. So our body gets stressed, so these stress hormones rise because they need more energy. So then these stress hormones like adrenaline will rise, and then eventually cortisol levels will rise too. But the problem is when we are never nourishing our body, which a lot of us are going through, and not feeding our body with enough calories and sugar, carbs, we're constant and pretty much just consuming high protein diet, a high fat diet. Our body's in a stress state, and it's going to be constantly breaking down and releasing, breaking down fat and releasing free fatty acids, which in turn causes a lot of stress and a lot more inflammation in the body. And this is pretty much what we want to be addressing and preventing. The third reason for sugar cravings is a lack of sleep. You're not sleeping enough. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, do not prioritize sleep. They see sleep as, like, who needs sleep? Sleep's just wasting. I don't want to waste 8 to 9 hours sleeping. I could do so much in those 8 to 9 hours. Let's just pull an all-nighter. But here's the thing. Cortisol interferes with insulin, and therefore insulin is unable to do its job and lower blood sugar levels, and then they remain high. In addition, being sleep deprived can impact two hormones that are involved in energy balance. They are leptin and ghrelin. Being sleep deprived can lower leptin and increase ghrelin. So your body is made to think that it's hungry and needs energy. So it craves those quick source of carbohydrates, your sugar, your simple sugars, for that quick source of energy. So to, manage your sugar cravings in that sense would be to make sure that you are sleeping and making sleep a priority. Get adequate amounts of hours of sleep and making sure you get good quality sleep, so you're actually getting deep sleep and not waking up through the night, which is very common too. Quick side note, if you are waking up throughout the night, then the reason is because your body hasn't got enough energy to help keep cortisol levels down. Because here's the thing, when we're asleep, obviously you can't eat anything while you're asleep because you're asleep. So in order to keep those cortisol levels down and help your body continue with its processes and its functions, a good idea is to have a bedtime snack which combines protein and carbs, like milk and some honey before you go to bed. That would be a great little snack to help keep cortisol levels down and keep you, prevent you from waking up during the night. So make sure you have a bedtime snack before you go to bed, about an hour to 30 minutes before you go to sleep. The final reason for sugar cravings is you might be eating an unbalanced meal. What I mean by an unbalanced meal is that you're not consuming, that your plate of food doesn't have a good balance of both carbohydrates, protein and fat. Let's say your plate of food is predominantly a very high carb meal, not having enough protein to help balance out the sugar. So you have high blood sugar. You could have too much. You could be eating protein and no carbohydrate, and then this can actually cause a low blood sugar level. Insulin levels rise to help increase that glucose. So it's always important to make sure that you not only combine protein with your carbohydrates to help manage the blood sugar levels, but also make sure you're eating carbohydrates with your protein, because protein can also impact insulin. It's not just carbohydrates impacting blood sugar levels. They both can impact blood sugar levels. So don't think, I'm just going to follow a high protein diet and keep my insulin levels stable, blood sugar levels stable. Not the case. Always combine protein with carbs to have healthy blood sugar levels and to prevent your sugar cravings. Make sure that your meals are balanced. But before I wrap up the video, let's just be clear on what sugars I'm talking about, because there's a difference between eating, your natural simple sugars like your fruit and your root vegetables and cookies and donuts and your processed foods. So the places you should be getting your sugar from include your ripe fruits, your milk. I personally prefer goat's milk as a source of dairy, as well as raw honey, fruit juices, and your raw root vegetables, for example, your butternut squash and potatoes, as well as carrots. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that the video answered your question about why you're experiencing sugar cravings, and since you're still about your sugar cravings, again, just eat the sugar. But yeah, I hope that now it gave you an insight into truly why sugar isn't bad and why you need to be eating sugar for your overall health, for faster metabolism, for improved thyroid function, for liver detoxification, for energy. It's just, sugar isn't bad, don't fear it, and you know, just eat your carbs. Thank you again for watching the video. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like. I would really appreciate it. Comment if you have any questions about the video, if you have any future topic, video topics, suggestions, recommendations that you would like me to answer and cover. Share the video and subscribe for plenty more videos, and I will catch you in the next one.